Short ribs and shrooms. Utah. All right, guys, hey, I'm Brad Leone. We're here in Utah, making one of my favorite dishes that we celebrated up on the Sundance Resort. Cooking a dinner with Gozney, my limited edition Brad Leone, making it, Roccbox, in a custom green. Today, we're gonna be doing a beef short rib with a mixed wild mushrooms. Some of them are farmed, but just a really nice little medley of mixed mushrooms. All right, cool, so we're gonna start off, we got the Roccbox on. I started off on high and I kick it down to a nice little medium low. We'll get our cast iron in there. I like to always preheat my cast iron pan, especially when I'm doing, you know, mushrooms or something like a meat like that. One onion we can cut in half. I like to use shallot as well if you got it. Peel it off a little. It's making a racket. What kind of bird is that, Chatham?
Hell if I know.
Come on. The hell if I know, bird. Never heard of that one. You can see on an onion it has those natural little lines, those little sections, and I kind of like to cut it like an orange like that. Gives you like a nice little julienne onion. And again, we have a nice, decent amount of mushrooms here. Probably like a pound of mix. We got some beech. We got a little bit of king trumpet, some mixed oysters, a couple shiitakes. The king trumpets are great. They have like a really, the whole stem. Never throw away the stem on a king trumpet. It's one of my favorite. People can cook them up like scallops as well if you cut them into coins. Today, we'll do some like that. And then we'll take the big crown here and just cut it into nice little petals. Oysters, super delicate. I like to just tear them a little bit. Most of these mushrooms are coming more and more available. You see them, if you look for them, they're out there, you know? So give them a chance. There's a lot more than just cremini and white buttons and the old shiitake and the old hell if I know bird. And I love cooking mushrooms with beef, you know? It's a pretty classic pairing. They go really well together. Just that nice little earthiness to it. And it kind of breaks it up, gives it a little texture. They're kind of meaty in their own sense, you know? The shiitake stems, do not eat them, but you can save them, get a big bag going, you can keep them in the freezer, you can make a mushroom stock. Is it a magpie? I kind of like magpies. I think they do dive people though. They'll swoop at you. I noticed in Ireland too, they had crows that had like a white side on them, like a raven with a wisp of white on them. They were really cool. All right, so we got our cut up onion, a little bit of mushroom there. Cast iron, we'll put a little bit of oil on there. It's probably pretty hot. And then we'll dress it up with some more oil on top. The mushrooms, they take more oil than you think. They're like kind of like a little bit of sponges. And then check on them, you know, don't go walking away for a half an hour. I like to add salt after I sear the mushrooms. The salt will draw out a lot of the moisture and kind of deglaze it. I want to pick up a little bit of the color on there, a little bit of char. So you just want to stir it around a little bit because a lot of that, you know, we preheated the pan, which is great, so it's cooking all around. And I like to put it on low, see how it's gonna act, because the thing does get hot, you know, and if it's too hot, things will start to burn, you know. In the meantime, I have some, little bit of dried oregano, all right? Don't sleep on dried oregano. One of my favorite herbs. And we got some fresh rosemary. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna pull off like a needle, right? It's almost like in the piney family. I don't know if that's probably not true at all, but it does kind of have a little piney. Oh my God, I love rosemary. Coarse salt, just because it's what we got. Just start giving everything a nice little chop. Yeah, I mean, look how much those wilted down already. Beautiful, beautiful. Liking that, smelling good. Again, garlic, cut off that little woody tip on the end, crush it, makes her an easy peel, and we'll hold off. We'll add that at the end when we make our sauce, because garlic will burn before everything else. It kind of burns pretty quick. Unpleasant flavor, so add your garlic at the end. And then for our beef short rib, just a boneless English cut. It's traditionally more of a braised, but I like to cook it. If you do slice it thin, you can slap it on, cook it almost like a steak. Really makes a great steak sandwich. Today we're gonna slice it up into like 16th to 8th inch kind of slices. So I always salt my beef. You can do it a day ahead of time, at least a couple hours. You can really let that salt kind of penetrate, season it all the way through, and it'll just make it much juicier. Meat grain's kind of like these fibrous, long strands, and you're gonna wanna look for it where they're going this way and cut across those fibers. Yeah, beautiful. You see, when you cut against the fiber, you can even see like where those grains come out. It's almost like comparative to wood, like a wood grain. In case you're, cut them into nice little slices like that. I trim off any of the sinewed or big, nasty pieces of fat. Oh, see, so like up top here, we have that little piece of sinew, that silver skin. I like to, when I'm cooking short rib like this, I like to remove that. That won't break down. The connective tissue, when you braise it, that'll break down, but when you're cooking it like a steak a bit more, that'll get, you know, it's not a nice thing to chew on. We're gonna remove the mushrooms, put it in our bowl, and we'll add it back once the meat is cooked and we add to make our sauce. So cool, this can go right in. A little bit of olive oil. Go back in. Now for this char, I'm gonna turn the heat up just a little bit. And it's nice, you got your temperature. Right now we're running at about, we're running pretty hot. Wait, hold on. Adding the steak to the shrooms, Utah. All right, so we've been putting a nice little char on the meat there, looking good. I've been flipping it around, getting all sides nice and toasty a bit. And now we're gonna build our sauce. Whenever I cook steak or making a sauce, always add a little butter. All right, it just does wonderful things. A little butter on there, our garlic. I even do a little pinch of our little salty kind of herbiness there. A little rosemary. Always give it a little bruise. Well, that's a tough one. That's gonna open up the oils as well. That butter is gonna start to melt. All that beef fat and the butter and the garlic and the rosemary, just doing really classic, delicious things. And we'll add a little bit of beef broth. Yeah, I like that. And that's just gonna do nice little stuff. Give it a little stir, get some of that butter and the oil to try to just mix it up. I mean, it's not gonna really emulsify, but just to get it a nice little velvety consistency. Just melt that up, mix that up. And what that's gonna do, we're kind of doing a little cheat on a braise here, okay? Slice the short rib thin, char it up like you would, get a nice sear on it, and then add some liquid and let that kind of cook, break down a little bit. I like serving this over noodles, over rice. I mean, heck, you can eat it just like this. Back in, and then I'm gonna turn the heat back down to low and just kind of let it bake in there. Yeah, so I'll let that sit for about 10, 12 minutes. Keep an eye on it. If water starts getting real low, if all that broth starts evaporating, you can add a little bit more. I like it to have a little bit of a sauciness to it. All right, cool. So our meat's been sitting, making that little sauce with the beef broth and the butter for about 10 minutes now on low heat, and looking nice. And again, this is something I've cooked many versions of this. You could add a little bit of wine if you wanted to instead of the broth. If you don't have it, you can add vegetable stock. A nice little way to enjoy short ribs without having to cook them and braise them and having them be like spoon tender, you know, like, which is great, but it's really a delicious cut of meat and you can do a lot of fun stuff with it. Actually makes a great cheesesteak too, but maybe we'll do, that's f***ing loud, huh? Sandhill cranes, man, they're pissed. But look, cuts like a steak, tender. Get out, they're flying. Get out, look at them, get them. Get the shop boys. Dude, dinosaurs. Yeah. Absolute dinosaurs. Pterodactyls coming back. Here they come. Get to the truck, boys. They know I'll eat them. You come over here, Daddy, 12 gauge your ass. Meat, look, tender. And with the mushrooms, mixed mushrooms, that butter, you kind of can't beat it. Dude, they're pissed. Cooking outdoors in the Roccbox, kind of can't beat it. We got beautiful trees. We got dinosaurs flying around. Eating good beef. To get this recipe, check out Gozney.com. And for more recipes cooking in the Roccbox, check out my YouTube show, Making It. Be cooking more recipes in the Making It limited edition Brad Leone Roccbox. YouTube, Brad Leone, Making It. Gozney, we love you. See you next time. Boys, you gotta get in here and eat. I can't eat all this in front of you. Goat bird? That's what they're called?